జనసేన కార్యాలయంలో పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
I'd like to ask Cosma Paul, yes, please go ahead and ask one question.
Hello, sir. My name is Cosma. I'm 14 years old, and I'm a student of one of the Bednarska schools. My question is how and when your adventure with being an actor started? Like, what was the moment and why?
Because I failed in my education. I lost. If I would have studied well like you, maybe I would have ended up in some kind of I would have been a professor. But consistent and I failed in my education. But my interest was in very holistic education I wanted. The kind of education I wanted, Indian schools were not providing that point of time. So I was learning on my own, and eventually by 22, 23, when I look back, I said there was no concrete academic background for me. So I don't know how to make a living. So my brother was being an actor then, even now. So he asked me, why don't you try films? So that was my last option to be in films. So I immediately jumped, and I burned all the, I really misused all the opportunities. So this was the only opportunity, that was the only opportunity I had in my hand, so I had given my best. That's all the history of it. Thank you. That's the history.
Though he often humbles us out by mentioning about the fact that he's a school dropout, he's extremely voracious reader. He humiliates us by the kind of stories that he talks about. In fact, the Jamnagar, the Maharaja story that he just talked about is a story that he told us a couple of months back. And I didn't realize that it could be so sooner that we could get to see, His Excellency here. And you should definitely ask him about his unconventional education background.
You should ask, sir.
Sure. So I'd like to request one of our teammate, Mr. Shiva, to quickly ask a question that he was just talking to. A lot of us had a lot of questions about Poland. Our understanding about Poland largely comes from the stories that we read about, Maharaja's humanity, because end of the day, it's the humanity that triumphed over all the evil, hatred, war and all. And that's the greatest example and testament of what India stands for, right? So
Take the question, and why don't you ask it? No, why don't you ask it?
I'm open for any questions on Poland.
The question that one of our teammates has was, when we see your profile, that we were reading our profile, the one quick thing that caught our attention was that you have a very good education background and you've been a professor at political science. So given the fact that we're also bringing a lot of students, we wanted to understand how do you see India and Poland collaborate on education. We have a different education systems as such, but since you're well-traveled and all, we wanted to pick your minds on how do you see that thing and collaboration.
So first of all, I'm a graduate of Maharaja School in Warsaw, one of the first years of graduation, because the school emerged after the fall of communism in Poland. But the education in Maharaja School in Warsaw gave me a very good background and really open-mindedness. I remember that when I was a student at the school, I also participated in a similar program, but with Berlin, Germany. So I'm very glad that the geographical horizon of the school is now bigger and touches all the world. And as I said, I'm looking forward for this cooperation with Hyderabad Public School, which is I consider one of the best in the whole Asia. If you see the list of the alumni of the school, you might see the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, CEO of Adobe, Shantanu Narayan, and many others who are the top of the world. So this is a very good project, and I'm sure that the outcome will be very satisfactory. Concerning my education, after graduating the Maharaja School in Warsaw, I also made an MA in History and Eastern Studies, but in Poland, as Eastern, we consider Russia and Eastern Europe. And then I started to, I got interested in India. I came here for the first time as a tourist. And then I started learning Hindi. and also I started to become more and more interested in Indian recent history and political life. And I made my PhD, and then I became a professor of political science. I published with a friend of mine, Krzysztof Iwanek, a very long book on recent Indian history. And I'm very glad to be here in India, in Hyderabad, and I'm looking forward to more projects.
Another question that one of our other teammate has asked is, we have read that you're a fluent speaker in Hindi.
तो हिंदी में जवाब दूं?
अगर दे सके तो जरूर जरूर I'll actually wait for our good friend Sri Arham Khan ji आपको एक प्रश्न पूछेंगे. He must be somewhere here. Okay.
आराम जी आप पूछे ना.
अरहम जी एक
ये इम्तिहान है, हाँ? परीक्षा.
इधर आए ना.
A very good morning to you, Your Excellency. मुझे सुन के बड़ी खुशी हुई कि आप हिंदी, उर्दू नुमा हिंदी भी बोल लेते हैं.
हाँ.
कितनी अच्छी बोलते हैं, थोड़ा सा कुछ और बोलिए आप हिंदी में.
तो 20 साल से पहले मैं पहली बार भारत में था. मैं टूरिस्ट था ऐसे ज़माने में, और उसके बाद तो मैं सिर्फ हिंदी का सीखना शुरू की. और मैंने तकरीबन 300 फिल्में देखा, और भी मुझे बहुत पसंद हिंदुस्तानी गाना है. और इस ही फिल्म गाने तो मैं सीखा, और अभी तो मैं एक महीने से पहले अम्बासडर राजदूत हो गया, और हर रोज तो मैं बेहतर बोलता हूँ.
I think you have. I feel that you have exceeded all my expectations. वैसे आपको कुछ हिंदी की शायरी या हिंदी का कोई गाना या कुछ इस तरह की कोई चीज याद है आप?
हाँ, बहुत बड़ा. मिसाल के तौर पर
कोई भी एक आध लाइन.
प्यार हुआ, इकरार हुआ. ओके.
अब एक सवाल मैं इंग्लिश में करता हूं. आई वुड लाइक टू नो, बिफोर मीटिंग पवन कल्याण गारू एंड आफ्टर मीटिंग, what is your opinion?
Before meeting Mr. Pawan Kalyan, I've heard that he's very generous. I knew that he really contributed to this cooperation with Hyderabad Public School. And also I knew that Mr. Pawan Kalyan is a very well-known actor of Indian movie industry. And after this long conversation, I discovered that also Mr. Pawan Kalyan has a very brilliant mind, and very full of ideas. And it's really great that we have one idea together to make a cooperation between Polish and Telugu film industries.
True. We'll do this, sir. I think it is needed. The rest of the world, I think, especially if you start with Poland, I think. I'm sorry. It would be a nice idea to expand it, our understanding further in terms of cinema and cultural understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, for your fantastic Hindi speech. he's often our guru when it comes to Hindi. We often go to Arhamji for any of those Hindi things. And now he may actually call you a good student than what I am.
Maybe I can add, Sare Dunya se acha Hindustan Hamara.
Fantastic. Thank you. It actually is. The fact that India extended its generosity and warmth during the war-stricken times of Second World War, despite of the fact that India itself was fighting for its own internal battles, whether it's a struggle for independence or a struggle for an identity as such for India, or the challenges of the famine and drought, the generosity and what has expanded, what the Maharaja has extended is what I believe should be called just simply humanity. And humanity triumphed over all the evil side. Today, the fact that we are sitting all together, I think these are all testaments of what people can do when cultures were bridged. And it's always about people. And, you know, as part of even our political philosophy internally, it's always people that we look at. It's not the, you know, caste, color, creed, community. You know, it's, if you strip them off, it's all people, and people are full of ideas, people are full of potential. You know, how do we tap and harness into such potential of people? I mean, these young minds, if they are really harnessed, they could be serving the world, not just Poland or India. Why should they just be limited to their own geographical boundaries? Maharaja didn't do that. The fact that you're sitting here, you know, giving it all back, the credit back to Maharaja, I think there's a lot we can accomplish when we come together as people. Thank you. You did talk about such stuff. Thank you.
I can, as a comment, I can say that in Poland we strongly believe in freedom, democracy, and peace. So, Azadi, Loktantra, Shanti. So, we share common values with India, really. And I'm glad that one of the best Warsaw Polish high schools is cooperating with one of the best high schools in India.
Thank you. I have an interesting question from my young friend Olga. She has a question for Mr. Pawan Kalyan. You may raise and yeah, please come here.
So my question is, I would like to know how you use your film career to promote your political ideas.
No, I don't do that. I just do films, and this is entirely what I'm doing. The second topic is entirely different. I don't mix both. They're two different things. For me, films is very important because if you look at as we are exploring the power of cinema, the power of cinema is something like I believe artists are any culture, like, you know, we are cultural bridges. And any kind of idea about, first thing would be is, so me and we're talking about, me and His Excellency, we're talking about the power of cinema. Any other idea would go into the mind first, but here, cinema is something which straight away speaks to your heart. And in that way, any issue, if you put it in a nice dramatic way, which would appealing manner, cinema can take anything, and cinema has the great power, and that's how I look at it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Pawan Kalyan, one more question for you. How new technologies and new media change the way you communicate to your public?
That's a blessing, and that's a great blessing in a way. Anything I think would be, if you use it in the right perspective, it's a great weapon. New technologies in terms of communication, in terms of other aspects. But when I say in terms of communication, this has become a great advantage. Today we are able to communicate with each other.